John, thank you for taking the time to speak to us all the way from Malaysia, and I'm just going to jump straight into it. Why did you want to become a referee?
Well, I played football up until the age of 14. Wasn't the most talented footballer, tried all positions, goalkeeper, striker, midfielder, but loved football. So I decided to take up refereeing, stay in the game, use it as a new skill at school for a project that I was working on. And then it grew from there, really. I enjoyed it. You know, I felt a reward when the games went well. So that was my initial steps into refereeing.
How did the actual journey start to becoming professional, though?
Yeah, so the PGMOL now have professional referees operating in the Championship and the Premier League. So I became a professional referee when I became a Championship referee, which was fantastic, enabled me to focus on really dedicating myself to my performance. So allowing myself to fuel myself properly with nutrition, sleeping well, recovery, not rushing from work, trying to think about another job whilst I'm on the way to a high-profile football match. So being professional is fantastic, allows us to dedicate ourselves to the games in terms of preparation and delivering performances.
So before this, you're having to manage your own job and being a ref. I'm asking because growing up, some of my friends' housemaster was David Ellery, who's now the technical director at IFAB.
Yeah.
I always found that remarkable, to be able to be a housemaster and a referee, to have a job, and to be a top flight referee at that.
Yeah, it was really busy time for me. So I worked in an insurance brokers locally in Leicestershire, so an office-based job. But I do remember certain match days where I would have to come in early to be able to leave early, to be able to do my hours at work, if you like. So it was busy, you know, make sure I get my work done and also prepare for the match as best I could, leaving early enough to allow for traffic. Wasn't perfect preparation, which is why when I'm now professional, it's so much better and, you know, I can really dedicate myself.
I was going to ask these questions later, but since we're on the topic, what is a match day like for a Premier League official? How early are you turning up? Are you staying the night in the city in a hotel? Yeah. How does it work?
So it depends on where the game is. So if it's a local game, reasonably local game, I will travel on the morning. We normally meet with my team of 4, so the 4 that are on the pitch, if you like, 4 hours before kick-off at a local hotel. And when we get there, the PGMOL supply a masseur to help us prepare physically for the games. You know, it's a very relentless season for the players. You often hear the players talking about that and the managers. Well, it's the same for the officials. We have to, you know, cover those distances and referee those games, so we get that support network. We'll talk about the game, how we prepare for that game tactically, what we expect from the game, how we think it will pan out. So a little bit of a team plan is established at the hotel before. We're then taken into the stadium. 2 hours before the game, we will arrive normally, make sure all the technology is working with the VAR and the goal line technology. And then from there, we're really into our match preparation in terms of getting changed, going for a warm-up and trying to deliver the game as best as possible.
And as the referee, I presume you're taking the lead in this. You're the one who's talking in the meetings at the hotel, saying this and that.
Yeah, the referee is the team leader, but this is very much a team ethic. So the assistant referees will maybe watch the teams in the build-up to the week as well, and they will contribute absolutely to the meeting. They talk to each other about offsides, of course, with the fast players that they expect to be testing them and their offside skills. They will also help me with teamwork with regards to fouls. If there's a trend of a team fouling people off the ball, for example, it's very difficult for the referee to see that. So it's important my assistants are also aware of foul play because it is a team ethic that delivers a Premier League match.
Do you even have to think about anything else, like your kit? Are you washing your own kit or is it provided?
Yeah.
Strange, I know, but...
Yeah, so we get issued with our kit at the start of the season, 4 colours that we have, and we look after that kit throughout. In the week, the Premier League will tell us which colour to wear, so they sanction all the kits in the build-up, the days building up to the match, but we then look after our kit, take our kit. There's no kit man or kit lady in the referee's room, so we look after our kit and make sure we've got everything with us that we need. Take it from home and it comes with me for the change room and I'll do the washing when I get home.
Yeah, just don't put it in the dryer in case it shrinks. You
Absolutely.
might be in some trouble on match day. What about just getting to the ground? You going yourself? Are you going with your team?
So you normally drive to the hotel. And then we get taken in by a vehicle as a 4, transported from the hotel to the ground. That happens on all Premier League games. for a number of reasons. One, it builds the team morale still in the car, as we get nearer to the stadium, the anticipation grows. And also from a security point of view, the referees are all in one place and managed appropriately.
Can I ask what the referees do when matches aren't happening?
So in the summer, we take our downtime. So that's our time for holiday, for trying to get some recovery into the legs. Summer is generally the time we would go away. In the week, I think it's important to have those moments to switch off from football. The Premier League, with it being such a big global brand, it's nice to sometimes go for a walk in the countryside and not think about refereeing a match until you have to, prepare for your next match and build up to the physically and tactically for the next match. But we always try and take some downtime in the week and in the summer.
How many kilometres do you cover in a game?
It varies between about 9 and 11, depending on the game, but always normally in that region. A very fast-paced open game, you'll be pushing 11, maybe plus in a match. A slightly slower possession-based match would be around 9 kilometres. It just depends on the style of play. And that all brings our training into the forefront. So we would do long-distance running, some speed and endurance sessions, strength sessions in the gym, all different types of training to prepare us for the different types of matches we referee.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that. Are you doing that at home? I mean, are referees living in all the different parts of the country? Are you all centred around somewhere? Do you go to a facility for this?
Yeah, so the referees come from all different parts of England. We meet together every 2 weeks for 2 days, and we train together as a group. And that's really beneficial to have that camaraderie in the group training sessions, the running sessions, and the gym sessions to push ourselves to the max, if you like. But really, the core training sessions take place on our own, in our own gyms, where we train, or on our own pitches near our house. But we wear GPS units, heart rate monitors. We're very technologically advanced now. So the sports scientists, we have a team of sports scientists, can see all of our training and the data that we, supply to them in terms of how hard we work. The PGMOL have recently introduced some regional training sessions as well. So the referees from different parts of the country can meet to those locally and try and get that camaraderie and pushing ourselves to our limits, because we want to be as fit as we possibly can.
When you say camaraderie, I'm sure that you're only competing against yourself, but is there a little bit of a rivalry about distance covered or speed between all the refs, just for fun, nothing else?
Yeah, there can be, just for fun. It's never serious. It's certainly, we're very much one group. We're the 21st team in the Premier League, if you like. But of course, we will have the same natural camaraderie and jokes about those sorts of things. Like the players would, probably they get the same statistics as well. So, but it's all done in good nature, all to drive performance to a top level.
I've asked this because we only see you on TV being ultra serious, laying down the law, and to humanise you, I think is very, very important that relationship does occur with the referee community as it does with players and teams. And I'm going to move on now. I need to ask about video analysis, since we're on the topic of what players do. Do you have video analysis of teams you're going to be focusing on, that you're going to be refereeing on the weekend?
Yeah, so we prepare physically, as we've discussed, and tactically. So we will watch the teams that we are about to referee and how they prepare for their matches, what to expect in the match, what situations might occur, how do teams set up the set plays, for example. We're fortunate that the PGMOL has a team of analysts who work with us, who supply us with, for example, the set pieces of the teams defending and attacking, so we can see who the players are that are the targets of those set pieces, enables us to focus a little bit more as a referee, gives you an insight into what to expect rather than going into a game blind. So video analysis before the game is really important, and then we will analyse our performance afterwards in terms of looking at what we did well, what we did not so well, and passing on any learning to the referee who might referee that team next. You've
been in this for a while. Have you seen an evolution of how you set yourself about in a game? You have to be in the right position at all times. But in the last 5, 6, 7 years, suddenly a long goal kick where you could put yourself on the halfway line knowing the keeper's going to kick it there. Now you don't know. A keeper could play it short. He might have his 2 centre-halves or a full-back in the box.
Yeah.
Has that affected you and your ability to officiate a match?
Yeah, the game has changed, as you can see. The long goal kick is probably the rare occasion now, rather than the norm is the short goal kick. Teams pass out from the back. So for us, what that means is we adapt our positioning. We would be much closer to that goal kick, positioning-wise, for the next phase of play, whereas historically, you would stand on the halfway line and wait for the dropping zone from the goal kick, for the possible header. So tactically, we prepare for those with the analyst team. So there are a couple of teams that still take long goal kicks, and we will know that. So we will stand in the most appropriate position that we think for the next phase of play.
Preparation really is key, not just physically, but also up here.
Yeah, definitely. Mental preparation and what you're going to experience is really important. It's key that we give ourselves the best opportunity to be successful.
That is leading up to the game. What about after the game? How does a debrief work? Is there always a debrief? How long does it take? Where does it occur?
Yeah, so there's always a debrief, and that occurs with multiple different people. The performance review system is really detailed, as it should be, given the level of the match, the level of the game that we operate. So we have a team of referee coaches with the PGMOL. So my coach is Andre Mariner, who is an ex-Premier League referee, and he will review my performance with me, how I managed the players, how I interacted with my team and my colleagues, whether my fitness and my positioning was appropriate for that match. So we'll go through that in great detail. I'll also talk to a match delegate from the Premier League, which is an ex-player or manager. They will give me a footballing perspective on my performance, so how they think it went and anything that I might not have thought of. So maybe tactically, I've had a situation recently where a delegate told me I was in the passing lanes and the channels of the players, which I didn't realise because I wasn't quite familiar with the tactics that the team was trying to adopt. So that's really helpful to try and position ourselves appropriately, as one example. And then every key decision we make, all of the penalty situations, red cards or anything to discuss around a goal, is reviewed by an independent panel, which gives accountability to the decisions, and the referees, get a verdict on whether that decision was right or wrong, which is really important and makes us strive to get every decision right where we can.
At the end of the day, you're only human. You're not a robot. Do you get intimidated by players or crowds, whatever it might be, or just nervous anticipation before a big match?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I get intimidated. You get excited. You are building up for a match because you want to referee that match. Like the players want to be involved on the biggest stage, the referees want to be involved in the biggest matches. That's natural, and we love what we're doing. So I think the player behaviour has got much better this year. It's really good to see the participant behaviour improving. I think that's good for the image of the game. It's good for the referees. Also allows the players to focus on their job of playing, and the talent in the Premier League from the players is obviously unbelievable. So I think it's a real step forward all round.
Have you ever thought of the global impact that you're having? Because I've told you at the start, I'm from Malaysia. Yeah. I'm 12,000 kilometres away. People are watching your every move on the pitch, every decision you make. I mean, have you ever thought of that? Have you ever factored it in beyond the stadium where you're at?
Yeah, we are aware of how big the Premier League is and how important it is to a lot of people around the world. But it's not something I actively think about. I think that there would be no benefit in me thinking that lots of people in Malaysia are watching this match. I will just try to deliver that match at the stadium, wherever I am in England, on the Premier League for that moment. But yeah, it's obviously a global event. We know each match is really important, and we try and play our part in being successfully delivering those games. Obviously, decisions will go against a team or for a team, and some fans can just take things a little bit too far. Do you have to avoid going out for a few days after a big decision has been made? No, I think you try to get on with your life, realise that I'm a referee. I try to make the right decision. Occasionally, decisions will fall the wrong side of what some people think, but football is a subjective game. Some decisions will always create debate. Somebody will always think it's the wrong decision. Some people think it's the right decision. So that is part of our job. We're fortunate that we've got really good support networks to help us cope with the pressure and like you say, the noise and the scrutiny outside of our home life, with the PGMOL, with the sports psychologists, our peer-to-peer contact, our referee coaches. So there's real support networks there to help us cope with that. But sometimes it can be quite, daunting, especially when you're new onto the Premier League, because nothing quite prepares you for the magnitude of being involved in those initial big decisions and the scrutiny that comes with those. Can I ask, what is your definition of an elite-level referee? So I think somebody that's dedicated, somebody that gives everything to the game, somebody that works on their fitness, somebody that controls everything they can control in terms of nutrition, pre-match preparation. Analysis and reviewing post-match is really important. Like we accept we might make mistakes, but we really don't want to make the same mistake twice. So somebody who reviews their matches, somebody who learns for the future, passes on their learning to their peers, and really contributes to the successful delivery of Premier League football. Are there any misconceptions about referees that you wish to clarify, since the camera is on you now?
Anything you've ever wanted to say that you're allowed to say?
No, I think just to know that we all love football, we all work really hard, we try to get the right decision in that moment. People need to realise it's a pressurised moment, both on the pitch and the VAR, watching the footage under pressure to get the right decision, but pressure to also act in an appropriate amount of time. So everything is done in good faith, everything is done to get the right outcome. Occasionally when we fall outside of that and there is a mistake, as a group and as individuals, we're really upset, we're disappointed, and we just try and learn to try and minimise any possible mistakes in the future.
I've worked with a lot of ex-professional footballers, some current ones as well. Do you think it would be beneficial for referees to have an ex-professional in the VAR hub, just to give a different perspective? Because, like you mentioned, sometimes decisions are more of an interpretation rather than an absolute rule, like if a ball has crossed the line or not. Do you think that would help?
Yeah, I think in certain situations it would be good to understand the mindset of a footballer, no doubt, and I would be welcome to that. However, you only have to look at certain decisions that are then debated by pundits and they still can't agree on what the correct decision is. So if we were to have an ex-footballer in the VAR hub, there may still be a debate between the ex-footballers or current footballers about what the correct decision is. And I think that's the beauty of football, isn't it? We love this sport because of the situations it throws up, the subjectivity of it. So I do agree that that could help us in certain situations, but also wouldn't solve all of our problems.
No, understood. Final two questions. Do you have any advice for individuals who want to get into this line of work effectively now as a professional referee?
Yeah, I think it's never been a better time to be a referee. The PGMOL has put in place streamlined systems now where you can really progress if you've got the talent, got the ambition and the work rate to move through the leagues. So it's a great time to be a referee. If you love football, you're not quite good enough to make it as a footballer, please join and be referee, and you can see referees like Sonny Singh-Gill, Rebecca Welch, with the opportunities that they've had to referee on the Premier League this year, and we work with those types of people on a regular basis, as well as the next generation of officials that we need to support the Premier League in years to come.
Just I'll insert an extra question here. Do the referees ever get together and play a game?
Of football?
Yeah.
Yeah, the referees will play football.
Who officiates that?
Sometimes the sports scientists officiate that, but they get quite a lot of stick from the referees for their refereeing ability.
Yeah.
But yeah, that does happen. We sometimes finish the season maybe with a five-a-side match, has happened. And yeah, I do remember one particular game, the sports scientist refereeing the match and getting some stick.
Are you the best there?
No, I wouldn't say that.
You're too modest, and I know I'll never be able to find out the answer. Who is the benchmark, do you feel, for referees? Because there's two that pop in my head. Pierluigi Collina, because he was on a video game cover, and Howard Webb, who's heavily involved now in the decision-making process.
Yeah, so those two people you mentioned were iconic referees when I was growing up and when I was watching football and involved in refereeing at a lower level. It's great to work with Howard now as head of the PGMOL in terms of managing the referees, looking after the referees, using his skills and his experience is a real positive. So, yeah, it's good to have him on board. And we try to emulate some of the matches that he delivered and did in his career.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
All the best for the rest of the season.
Thank you, my pleasure.
Yeah.